About to go speak.
Yeah, and not only being a dropout, I told him I was a dropout, I didn't care. And it was something I wrote when I was 21 years old.
His PowerPoint came up odd, so if you want to test your screen first. It wasn't doing it.
All right, you guys, transfer.
Yeah.
Equipment. All right. So let's just take a minute. Was that impactful? Very impactful. Share about what you felt, something an aha for you that just hit you, because you can see when we do speak from the heart, we get beyond all the intellectual stuff that we were trying to be about and technical things. When we start to speak from the heart, that's where the real connections come from. That's what's apparent to me about every one of you, because I know every one of you. Some of you better than others, obviously, but I've spoken to every one of you. I know who you are. I've been to some of your offices and see who you are, and you all have that capacity.
Yeah,
somehow something changes when you're in that environment, that box that we grew up, and we're talking on this particular hat and walk in this particular set. We got to get over that.
Good to go.
That's why I love people that come here and share. We all come with our stories.
Is there a laser? Yeah,
that's baggage or things that were pain points, but we're survivors. God willing, we're survivors, and when we do survive, and God has a chance to change us and remold us, and people we're really meant to be, that's when we have the power. That's when we have the power. And so, yes, we want to help you with your practices and with the real estate and your financial plan. Yes, those are important pieces, but having some depth into who we are and why we do what we do doesn't start there, and all this other stuff is just peripheral. It's just peripheral, and that's why I like to mix it up here a little bit and give you a little bit of both. So now we're going to go back into the marketing a little bit, and I asked Chandler to do a specific presentation on metrics. Wayne spoke about it very, very well from his perspective in his real estate business, and Chandler, being the awesome marketer he is, has promised to give you some really good stuff on how you can be using metrics in your practice. So we're kind of segueing back to that and building this foundation for you. So give a big hand to Dr. Chandler George.
Martha! What do you want, Joe? Martha! My left butt cheek hurts. I think I was on the tractor too long. I don't know what you got to do, but call our daughter, look up in the phone book or something, and find that chiropractor, you know. Joe, I'm not sure if we even have a phone book anymore, but even if we do, I'm not sure what a chiropractor is. Well, look up someone who has left butt cheek pain. It's not my right butt cheek pain. It's my left butt cheek pain. Well, Joe, all I see in here are people who help sciatica and hemorrhoids and pain and weird spots, and I can't even pronounce half this stuff. Martha, that's not my problem. My problem is my left butt cheek pain from being on the tractor too long. Don't find it. Don't see it. Okay, we can call our daughter. She's really smart. She has one of those cool, fancy little iPhones or something, and maybe she can find us somebody there. Okay, I'll do that. So they call, they do that, and they look and go, you know what? There's nobody who helps with butt cheek pain. A lot of sciatica, a lot of hemorrhoids, a lot of other things, but no butt cheek pain. This is your practice. You're in the dark. You can't be found. People need you, want to be served by you, do everything Corey said, and you are so freaking selfish and lost in your own world, you can't even serve the ones who are looking for you because you are in the dark. Because your marketing is that poor. Your numbers are that poor. You don't know what they are. You think they're looking for the root canal or the sciatica or whatever, and they're not. You're not sure what they're looking for. So if I had my strobe light, you'd just shoot everything if you were doing anything, right? And hope something sticks, as opposed to getting laser focused. That's what we're going to talk about in the last pipeline. So we want to have lights on our marketing to know that they can find us so that we truly can help. Corey's right. Corey's right on. It's about serving first. So when we talk about marketing metrics, how am I going to make marketing metrics sexy? I mean, that's such a... And he told me this in Colorado when I was having a lot of fun. I really was excited. How are we going to make numbers sexy? Well, you and I know how we're going to make them sexy. We've got to make them real. It's about people, and it's about serving them, and about the big why. With the big why, after we have enough, and a lot of y'all got millions of dollars in here each, it's then about them. It's about everyone else we can help. The more money we have, the more we can help other people and what they need. It's well beyond us. When we're little, when we're young, it's all about us. I got to practice. I got to borrow the money. I got to get started. I got to make something. I got to get this wife or whatever and buy the cool car. And then we realize, crap, what am I doing? It means nothing to us. It's not even important, is it? At some point, we're like, it's about them. But if you're not careful, you've had gold overrun, right? As Dr. Robert Schuller used to say, after 34 books and during the Crystal Cathedral, I had nothing left, Walter. I had to have a new goal, and it was to have a $50 billion endowment fund, because otherwise there's no reason for living. I had no other reason to write books. I'd already done it all. I already had the cool dental practice. So now what? Now it's about building the foundation, leaving the legacy, changing the world, and doing it through your ability, your power, your leadership, and the money that you have. It's got to be bigger than you. If it's not, you'll quit. You'll retire. You'll stay on those mountains and you'll never come back down. And you'll have served nobody except yourself and maybe your family. You're selfish. You're down to it. Now, the reason I bring that up is because that, to me, is the only reason you're going to care about those numbers. That's the only reason, Paul, you're going to look at the numbers. It's the only reason I want to look at numbers, because I failed high school algebra 2. My brother got straight A's. I was too busy playing with people and building relationships, which to me is still the most important, because it's still not about those numbers. Unless I can tie it to Neil. If I can tie the numbers to you, then I have a reason to look at those darn numbers when I'm horrible at math. I'm like Jerry Jones. I failed math. Well, I really did that. You failed 2 classes too? But your brother didn't make straight A's in the same class, did he? Remember that? Oh, so I think we're brothers here. So know your numbers, and we're going to go over the numbers. What we're doing here, since we're talking about marketing, is I actually have a live Google Hangout going at the same time. The reason why is because at the same time I'm talking to you, I might as well rank number 1 in all of the nation for chiropractic business management and a few other terms. So I have a live Hangout going on, which ties in YouTube. So this is actually a YouTube video, but I didn't want a video showing, so this is like a radio, right? And then it will go into a YouTube channel, and it will rank up for keywords. So in the process, we invited a lot of people. They're not on here, David. You don't have to worry. We don't have a live stream audience, but 1,000 ago I could have. And they're helping us rank. Okay, and we'll do this in my next event here at this hotel next month as well, and they'll all be on there together. So this is about the numbers. So the numbers got to be real. So let's start when you're young. This is what happened with me. 5-year plan. If you go borrow some money, they usually want you to do a 5-year plan and know your numbers, right? We agree? Okay. Now, a 5-year plan from now from where you are, it might be maybe $10 million, but again, it's just a number. Who cares, right? But if I can go and figure out why I want the $10 million. So let's move forward 5 years. If you have to do a 5-year plan, and everyone y'all should do this later, maybe that worksheet that David gave you, in 5 years, what all my life would look like? Who am I going to serve other than in my dental practice? What foundation am I going to start? How come I am not the preacher at the church some of the time? How come I'm not leading these things? If not you, who? I turned around twice and I'm 50 years old and I still think I'm the 25-year-old kid. And so, my gosh, I got to step up and lead. My dad can't do it. It's over. We are that person. So in 5 years, what do you want? What do you want for your kids if you have kids? I don't, which is why I want to help all these other folks. We want less kids. 5-year plan, what do you want? Horses, more cars, more airplanes to jump out of, like Corey? What is it? Figure out what that is, because if you don't figure out what that is, you will never, ever look at the numbers on a daily basis, build your plan, and work it backwards. But it won't mean anything. So for me, I had an office with my numbers with nothing but pictures of the mountains in Colorado and Alaska, everything all over the place. Seriously, because I had no money, it was one of those little Sierra calendars, you know, those Sierra you print them out, you put them on the wall. I had a couple hundred in there. And then one side of the wall, because back then for computers, 1989, 88, there was a little bar graph, my stats. But the only reason the stats mattered was because, again, I got to go here to Rocky Mountain National Park, right? That was my why at the time. So figure out the why, work backwards 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, put it to numbers. I'm not going to have time to show you the Excel spreadsheet of the numbers. Then change the 1 or 2 variables that you need to change now, today, this month, that will get you towards the 5-year plan. Many times in a doctor's office, this is what we do for clients, we look at it and we all think it's new patients. Sometimes it is. But you might need to change it just by 2 or 3 new patients in a month to actually double the clinic. Sometimes it might just be change a staff person or some training to change a key statistic. Sometimes it's underutilization of a particular service. Usually there's just 3 or 4 different numbers that have to be changed just by a little bit, because it's 5 years in the future, right? Working backwards to hit your perfect utopia. So 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. Now we come to here, because looking forward, people go, man, I'm going to do $1 million practice. You say I got to do a $5 million practice. I'm not telling you that at all. You're telling me that because it's your goal, it's not my goal. The coach's consultant's job is not to make you more money. It's to help you reach your goal. Maybe more time off, to heal, whatever it is. It's your goal, not mine. You've got to figure that out, or guess what? You're not in my coaching group. You'd never make it. If you don't know what your goal is, I can't help you get to nowhere. I like cruising. Been on a bunch of cruises. I have to know where I'm going. I want to know the ports of call. What's your port of call? You got to tell me. Once we know that, we put in the numbers: 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. And if the day is September, that means for, let's say, January, Steve, we got 4 months now to set up our marketing calendar and the numbers we need to hit this little bitty extra 1 new patient a month, 1 extra crown a month. That's it. And we've got 4 months to set up the marketing. So can you save for 4 months an extra $2,000 or $3,000 so that we can do these extra 10 things in 4 months? In 4 months, that's it. Now realize we're going to do this over the next 60 months to hit this big goal. But I don't want to have you to have a heart attack, and I want you to like these numbers. So we're just going to focus on this one little spot right here. Is that okay by you? That's it. So when we talk every couple of weeks, that's all we're going to do. That's all I care about. Matter of fact, if you don't have your stats from your wife or somebody ready, we don't talk. I don't care what you have. We don't talk. You're not prepared. Your stats would tell me if you're serious about your goal. The last thing I want is for me to be more serious about your goal than you. So you give me the statistics from your office of where you are. Are we on the right track or are we not? And the statistics will tell us where the conversation goes, Walter. It tells us where the conversation should go. Is it marketing? Is it management? What is it? Does that make sense to everybody? So the numbers that I'm going to show you mean absolutely nothing if you don't get the basis of it in the first place. Why does it matter? What's the goal? What are we trying to do? Why do the numbers work backwards? And then it's incremental changes. All we have to have on a monthly basis to hit. And then it's not so hard, is it? Now all of a sudden numbers are my best friend. I get straight A's in numbers now, Jerry. I can pass money back. Because money back for me means another 6 months in the mountains next summer instead of 2 months like this summer. Instead of 3 14,000-foot days, it's 7. I hope you can keep up next year and do more peaks. It's more mountain biking, it's more road biking, it's more whatever I want to do. Then that gives me the energy and the help to go serve at a higher level. Okay. We all good so far? Questions? This is kind of hard to see. This Excel spreadsheet. So let's say this is January 2011. This happens to be a chiropractic clinic. This clinic does a couple million a year. At that time, probably 1.2, which our average client will do that, which is not average for chiropractic at all, by the way. But notice we have over 29, actually I think this sheet has 36 statistics for this one chiropractic business. Now this particular business also has a Department of Transportation physical business, has a drug company business. It's got many businesses, and that means different set of stats and a different set of goals in 5 years. So when we talk and they turn this in, we already know what the goal is. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, for the year, we know what the goal is. They need to hit $105,000 in collection this month to stay on track for the 5-year goal. So, Steve, for January, you got to hit 105,000 if we're going to be on track for the 5-year goal so that you can do the things that are important to you and your family, right? Okay. Now, they're not doing so good, are they? They got $33,792 left towards the goal, and we're already at the 5th week. I mean, that month's over. We're behind. We're not hitting it. And then for last year, this is what we did. So we always have a tail. So last year it was 77,278 is what we collected, and this year it's 71. So actually, we're even behind last year in this particular one. Now, I happen to know in this particular clinic that their third associate had cancer and was dying, and he was the engine of the clinic, and he was the spiritual leader. And he was dying, and he did die. He died at 50 years of age, and they got over it. They had a down year, and they've gone on to set records. But at the time, that was what was happening to them. They weren't just falling apart, not paying attention. But him dying at the age of 50 of lung cancer, and he never smoked, became their why. It became the reason for the goals from there on out, to build endowment funds and things for him. But at the time, this wasn't the case. Now, break it down further. We have patient visits. This is per week. Typical chiropractic clinic, as Jeff would know in here and some others, might see 400 or 500 in a week, or I'm sorry, a month. This one will see 400 or 500 in a week, and sometimes up to 1,000. That's more than normal. 21 to 30 patients usually typically in a week. Most chiropractic clinics will see 23 and a half in a month. Okay, x-ray services. Sometimes you can x-ray people who aren't necessarily chiropractic patients. They break their arm, they get in a fight in band practice, or whatever, and you're cheaper than a hospital, so they'll come see you. So there's x-ray services with digital x-ray that makes a chiropractor a lot of money instead of a hospital. We have promotional write-offs because sometimes you might have radio commercials or things going on where maybe they can get a consultation for less money, right? So you're putting in your why and your pieces to every single statistic. Every single one of these has to be done every single day and entered every single week, or we have no relationship. You're not serious about your business. Net services after insurance write-offs. This practice has a lot of insurance in it. It's actually in network, so there tends to be more write-off, right? Actual collections, collection percent, patient visit averages in yellow because it's one of the key statistics, meaning what is the average visit? When chiropractic, like physical therapy, they come more often, right? Dental, they might come 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times a year depending on the problem. I go back twice a year to get the teeth cleaned, never had a cavity or anything. But chiropractic, you may go 20, 30 times a year or 5 times a year, depending on the issue. Dollar per visit average. They're in a small town, much like Weatherford, Oklahoma, where Corey's from. 37, 45, very low dollar per visits 4 years ago. That's the average. So they're not ripping people off, are they? In fact, they're probably too cheap. The average is about $55, $56 for a typical chiro clinic. Now, if you add medical, it's more like $150. So that's the average. So you got to have this stat in here. Attended therapy units. Now, what I'm doing is I'm showing you how detailed you got to be in your practice. Everything you're measuring. Attended therapy. Attended therapy. Did you know the overhead goes up exponentially when I got someone doing a rub-a-dub with an ultrasound? As opposed to a machine with a bigger crystal head or something that can do ultrasound without rub-a-dub? You know how hard it is to find those little crystal ones? They're really hard to find. They don't even make them anymore. As opposed to the rub-a-dub or a laser with a stand, as opposed to someone doing it like this. The whole goal, certainly in chiropractic, is your therapy usually will make 50% of your money. So you want as much unattended as possible. But if it's insurance-based, they want it all attended. So I'm against insurance, to be honest, because I think if your principles are right, your product is good, you will make plenty of profit without insurance. Because I grew up in the era with my dad that we didn't need insurance to really succeed in a medical or a chiropractic practice. Did not need it. So even though I took insurance, I was always out of network. Always, always, always. And I had a whole bunch of different clinics right up to recent. Doesn't matter. Give them what they need, exceed services, and market better. But this is part of marketing. Even though this is production, this is part of marketing. Case average. Typical chiropractic would be $1,500 for a case. In a city like Dallas, it might be $2,500. Attended therapies per patient visit. You see how detailed we're getting? I want you to see how detailed we're getting. Unattended therapy units. Oh, that's what we like. Now, there's going to be one spot in here that should come up. I don't see it. where they actually believed every patient deserved one of those 15-minute rubs by a pseudo-massage therapist. And you could get a pseudo-massage therapist and charge it under insurance, so that little 15-minute rub wasn't $20, which was all we make you pay as cash. That's right, the last 15 minutes. No, it's $120 because insurance is going to pay it, right? What a ripoff, what a scam. You know, that's a lie. That's BS. But they do it, right? You market better, you don't have to do it. But so they end up having 7 girls doing that. Oh, but that's the only reason they come, Chandler. Well, that's the only reason they come, Steve. Then you're out of business. If you're the chiropractor and that's the only reason they come is because if you're 7 girls doing this, you don't have a practice. We've got a bigger problem. Sell it to me now. Let me have it. I'll fix it. You know, take all the money. Okay, so that was their problem. So we had to get to unattended therapies, electrical muscle stimulation, vibration. That's more like for radiculopathy, peripheral neuropathies, certain type of nutrition, peripheral neuropathies, a little cold laser, and a little vibration. Like my left hand sees purple because I had my back to prolotherapy, so I have no circulation hardly in my hands at all. And David can tell you, you know, you see me in the mountains, I'm always wearing gloves. The only person always wearing gloves because my hands are freezing. Okay, peripheral neuropathy, right? Herniated discs to the neck, 8 of them. In the back. Okay, so you go down progress reports, progress exams. Maybe if we're talking on the phone, they haven't done a progress report or progress exam. How are we going to know? Well, the numbers will be low. I'll see the financial reports, which is a whole other stat here, and the numbers will be so low, and just like you would in a bank, you're comparing this sheet with this sheet. And if I'm never sure, I'm like, give me all your software. Give me everything on your computer. And we compare them. And I'm like, someone's either stealing from you, or you're lying to me, or your staff quit. You know, you always know the truth, don't you? You always know the truth. They can't get out of it. Well, this guy had 13 staff. There's always something going on. So these are the statistics that you must break down each and every time. Now, he was doing some acupuncture, which I discourage because it takes 20 minutes, changes his headspace, and it's too much hands-on when he's just one doctor. It's better off if we had somebody else doing that, right? But the stats tell you all this. So every single time you talk, you must have the stats in front of you, and I'm better not know them better than the doctor does or the person giving them to me that's paying for the services. This is the marketing metrics. This will determine the marketing budget. This will determine where we go. Now remember, if they go, well, yeah, but you don't get it. My little town sucks, and I have issues here, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I look at my file, and I'm like, wait a minute, but on your 5-year plan, it says you want to make this so that you can do this. So this governs, John, every decision we make. It isn't how we feel today, Robert, is it? It's what this says. If this says this is the roadmap. This is the Bible. This is what we go by. So I don't care how you do it today. You need to invest more in marketing. You need to get the reports ready and give me the marketing calendar for January. It doesn't matter. You've already given me the leverage I need. This is the game we're playing. So I don't care how you or the staff feel. Well, should I hire more people today? Should I let some people go? Where do the 5-year plans at? Right? It always gives something to go back to. That's key to do with the marketing metrics. Let's change gears. This one is an example when we do internet marketing now, not so much of the coaching and consulting, of just samples of reports that we run to find out if they have citations or third-party sites that are affecting their maps so they can be found. That's called Google Business Pages. It is amazing to me how many clinics, and none of these are clients that are actually on here. This clinic, Allied Pain and Rehab Center, can't even be found. It doesn't even exist. So I didn't do this on y'all's sites yesterday, but you can run third-party reports of what your marketing guys should be doing, and they should be giving you reports, depending on what they're doing for your services, every single month of what's working, what's not working, and if it's not working, what are we going to do about it to try to figure it out and change. Maybe you should be helping them and collaborating more and giving them more content, right? If it's Dave Van Horn's fund, maybe I need more information about it to get it to the right kind of people, and I just haven't asked him for it, or he hasn't given it to me. Whatever it is, we have to figure that out so the marketing report shows results in the next month, or not only is he fired, I'm hired. Every month. Every month. And then I want to know the rankings. So here in the bold is how many citations are out there, third-party places that you talked about and found. It's in bold because he's the leader of the group. How many links? No links. Ooh, look at that, no links. Are they even verified? I can't believe how many clinics don't even have anything verified. You don't see it on this one, but you will on another one. Website authority. You can be pretty pitiful and still win. Because everyone else is worse. Reviews and ratings. Look at this. No reviews and ratings. Most of these are actually in the mid-cities, chiropractors in the mid-cities here, and then categories with pictures. Okay, so these are the kind of reports we can run over and over ad nauseum of any clinic. And so when you're looking at your marketing and your numbers, you want to ask, run reports. Show me what my clinic is now. Show me where it's at in real time. Show me how long it's going to take to get from A to B. How much is it going to be in investment? If my case average is this, then what's my ROI going to be in 6 months or 7 months or whatever the goal is? Because I also get tired, and so would you, when someone says, I want to double my clinic. Oh, good. That's awesome. You want to double? Cool. What's that mean? Well, they'll say something like this. I want to make $40,000 more in a month. Take them. Really? I'm thinking, well, maybe they're serious. Yeah? Right. And then I'm like, okay, so you spend 2 hours of research figuring out we're going to have to do all of this stuff to actually get to there, if they're serious, which might be $5,000 a month. To make 40, I mean, what a deal. I'll take 40 if I can give you 5 all day long. But they have a heart attack because to them it's too much money. They weren't serious about it in the first place. They were hoping they could double for, what's $500. Yeah. And that's not true. So the numbers have to bear it out, and you have to have leverage, and you have to have an understanding of what do they really want and what is the reason why. Saying I want to make $40,000, I know they're lying through the teeth, I'm wasting my time. So like David, if they don't jump through a survey, if they don't come to a strategy session, if they don't answer the questions we move to Infusionsoft, we ain't talking. Then they got to know those numbers. Otherwise, they're going to be a pain in the butt client. Now, but they're going to see reports like this. The citations should go up every single month. April, July, September. They're being found in more places throughout the internet. That's a good thing. That's what we want. Now, they may not fully understand all the reports, but I think the marketing people have a responsibility to show it to them and help them understand, just like you as a dentist would show me my mouth, or a chiropractor would do a report and show them, right? It doesn't matter if insurance wants to pay for it. They need to see what's going on, because in time they'll figure it out. They should understand it even though they don't do it. Okay? Here's another one. These are reports to do with citations. So here they are active, and here's how many more potential we can get for them. Some of these are clients. And I'll have them run every 30 days usually. Every 30 days normally. This one we're doing something else. And then it'll show the report. And then you just send it to them. This is one here in Southlake as an example locally. So he's going to want to see that these particular terms, which are pretty generic, this one's actually a competitor, he ranks number 2 or number 3 in a town of about 29,000 people, about 20 chiropractors, and in a very wealthy suburb here locally. And so he likes that report because his goal is to generalize going to dominate the internet for these certain terms, okay? It's going to be this much, and here's what it means. But to him, that's an extra 5 to 7 new patients at $1,500 each, so he can easily afford the fee, right? Which in that case is like $1,300 a month. Okay. Is this helping y'all understand the numbers a little bit better, the marketing, hopefully? Got a few more minutes. That's not going to help you understand it. Let's see if I have any more marketing numbers up here. That may be about it. These are different rankings. This is one actually of the Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners. The key word was Texas chiropractors, but because of how we marketed, the chiropractor in Southlake ends up being on the front page, first page, in the number 3 position for the whole state of Texas for his office. That's pretty cool. So sometimes we dominate a whole state and we don't even charge them extra for it, but that's how we keep them happy and keep clients for years and years and years. And this was just July 30th of this year. Then at the same time, I ran a press release for a place I'm speaking at next week in Austin with an attorney. It's an attorney group. George and Laurent team up at Texas Board. Where'd it go? Yeah, right here. So that's a press release that we ran like a month ago that's dominating everything in chiropractic right now in the state of Texas, which is just pre-marketing me for a speech, much like this one there, right? Where everyone's an MD or a chiropractor working together. Now, look below that. These are thumbnail pictures of the same client in Southlake using Google Plus and Hangout, which I'm doing now right now, by the way, live, which will show my face in the rankings. And that's showing him rankings just from articles that happen to go through a Google Plus, which is like a Facebook Hangout. But you can see how this particular chiropractor is dominating the state of Texas, and he's only paying to dominate his little town of Southlake. What's the value of that? But you got to have proof. Not only the metrics and third-party sourcing, but whatever you can get if you put in a different name or whatever in Chrome and show a verifiable proof. Is what you want to show each and every time. I've got a couple more minutes. All right, and here's another one that we use. It's called Click to Tweet. It measures all the clicks within Twitter. I put that up there because David hates Twitter. I just thought it was funny. But anyway, it measures all the clicks to tweet. Yeah, so I told you, he really likes that. So before I close up, does anyone have any quick questions on the marketing metrics?
Where do you get one?
Where do you get one?
Yeah, I mean, you do this very well. Wayne does very well. So where does one start to build one out? You know what to put in it, and then.
Well, if they're in this room, they're connected to you. So they start with you. They start with Chris. What do they need based on their numbers and metrics and 5-year plan or whatever you build out for them? Then depending on that, you might go, well, geez, the way they are with offline stuff, whatever they need, Jerry. The way they are with this or different part of the country, they need, you know, it depends. And then you would cut, but that would be your job. If they're not a client, then that's your problem right off the bat. You're kind of lost. You have to go talk to everybody, figure it out on your own, and do a lot of strategy calls, and go through a lot of work. Not having to vet it out. But that's the first thing I would do. And Corey, I went to Bora Bora once, but you can't even see it. I got too much work in front of me. But anyway, that's actually Bora Bora from the hut. So think about this. The marketing numbers only matter if there's a big enough why and you got the plan. Ross Perot in 1979 did not honor a cantrip scandal when he saved his people. He was working for him. And I was a freshman in high school, had a quote, and I took it out of the paper, one of my papers, and kept it, and put it in a cassette tape. Every good and excellent thing stands moment by moment on the razor's edge of danger. Every good and excellent thing stands moment by moment on the razor's edge of danger, and it must be fought for. Fought for. If you aren't fighting right now to keep your practice growing, you're going backwards. Between inflation and lack of marketing, you are in quicksand. You must fight for anything that's good and excellent in this country or in your practice, or you've lost. And I don't know about you, I'm not used to losing, I'm used to winning. You give into the power of God, you serve, you know your numbers for a purpose, and then you bust butt and get busy. And if you aren't healthy enough, then by God, get healthy. Get healthy and get after it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. So how's our Google Hangout doing?
Well,
I think it's cool we're hanging out with some people on Google. I'm not sure what people and where they're from, but I'm always intrigued by the stuff.